Some of you may have seen the deeply disturbing footage of ICE agents dragging an elderly man out of his home in sub-zero temperatures in Minnesota with no shoes and insufficient clothing, and then stuffing him in the back of a car.
How much of a fucking asshole can you be?
Now you're this what they were talking about. Y'all antagonizing people. Y'all instigating shit. Y'all instigating shit. Y'all hell. They took an old man with no fucking shoes on, bro. Y'all just
It takes a half dozen armed men. Sorry, I was getting upset there. It takes a half dozen masked armed men to drag an elderly man out of the shower in sub-zero temperatures. He had like a shirt draped over his shoulders, socks. What a risk to his health, and obviously a risk to his liberty. We are finding out more information about what happened now. Again, that man is an American citizen. ICE violated his Fourth Amendment rights and abducted him from his home because he is a naturalized citizen. No, that's not true, because he's not white. Because he's not white and they can. He has been released and he did a news interview yesterday.
About 1:30, daughter-in-law came to the room and said, Dad, there's an ice out there. So I locked my bedroom, and then Sunday they break in, they just came to the room and knocked on the door. So I just said, okay, just open the door, see what they want. And then Sunday there's a gun pointing at us. I go, whoa. And then they go, you come out here. I go, okay. And then I came out there, raised my hand up, and then they said put my hand on my back. So I did, and then Sunday they just handcuffed me. They didn't ask for my ID or anything until after they handcuffed me, and then they asked me, do I have my ID? I go, yeah, it's in the room. And then my daughter-in-law, she tried to get my ID, but they didn't want to see it no more. Yeah, they just took me out there. Yesterday was, I don't feel like it's freedom.
Let's be crystal clear about what's happening in Minnesota. American citizens are being abducted by a criminal organization that is being funded by billions of dollars of our tax money. ICE has no legal jurisdiction over Americans. That was a crime. They had no warrant, no right to bust into that man's home, no legal authority to abduct him. They did it because ICE is lawless, out of control. J.D. Vance, Stephen Miller, Donald Trump, and Kristi Noem are supporting, endorsing, promoting, empowering lawless thugs to terrorize Americans in Minnesota and all around the country. And I've had a lot of people in my comments over the last few days be like, I don't understand why they're going after American citizens if they don't have any jurisdiction, if they don't have any authority. There's just story after story after story of them taking people who have legal documentation, people who are American citizens. It's happening for two main reasons. Number one is because this is the classic fascist playbook. This is authoritarianism. This is how authoritarian creep works. It is the first they came for poem. They pick a vulnerable group, they scapegoat them, they falsely represent them to the public as terrorists, as violent criminals, as thugs, as a danger to everybody else. And so we have to violate their due process rights. We have to take away their rights. It's for your safety and your protection that we need to target these people and we need to get rid of them. It's all under the guise of protecting everybody else. This is about safety, whatever. They always pick a vulnerable group. They always scapegoat them, frame them as corrupt, evil, dangerous, etc., etc. And then they violate their rights and they hope that nobody really cares because after all, they've already successfully vilified this group. And they're people who don't look like you. They weren't born here. And so they violate their due process rights. They tell everybody that that's okay. Just accept it. But then they move on from undocumented immigrants to folks who are here with asylum status, folks who are here going through our onerous, complicated, years-long process to get permanent resident status, folks who already are permanent residents, folks married to American citizens. And then they move on from there to folks who are born in this country, are American citizens, but are the children of immigrants. The Trump regime really, really attacking birthright citizenship, wanting to strip away that constitutional right. And let's be clear here, they have successfully done that. For at least 11 months, the Trump regime has been, it's not deporting, we can't deport American citizens. They have been exiling American citizens from this country in a grievous violation of their constitutional rights. More than a dozen American citizens have been kicked out of the United States, and nobody cares because they're brown kids, because they're children, and they're the children of immigrants. They are American citizens, and people really have not cared that much. Cool. The minute they can treat any American citizen like that, they're going to keep creeping. They're going to expand it to everybody. The goal here is the step-by-step methodical implementation of fascism. Strip away the rights from the most vulnerable group. If the general public allows that to happen and doesn't defend that group, they advance a little bit more, until it's suddenly white American citizens that no longer have constitutional rights. If they can violate the rights of a vulnerable group and the rest of the populace lets them get away with it, they will start to creep. The ultimate goal is to dismantle the Constitution, dismantle our democracy, put everybody under an authoritarian state where Donald Trump's band of lawless goons, a criminal operation, aka ICE, can just do whatever they want to any of us. And JD Vance and Pam Bondi and the DOJ will let them do it. They will empower them to do it. These ICE fail-son chuddies, they know they're violating people's rights. They know they don't have search warrants. They know that they do not have judicial warrants. They don't have any legal basis to do what they are doing. They're covering their faces because they're chicken shit cowards who fear the post-Trump era. But right now, what's happening so that they feel that they can overcome that fear, that hurdle of like a future accountability is coming. We might go to prison for a real long time. Like what's empowering them to act in this way now? What's incentivizing them to act in this way now? Well, part of it is JD Vance and Pam Bondi saying, go, have at them. Do whatever you want. We're not going to hold you accountable. We have no intention of upholding the law. Go do whatever you want. Break any law that you want. And the second reason is money. It's money. Like anything that the Trump regime does, it's all about the grift, the graft, corruption. We live under a kleptocracy. Late stage capitalism, fascism, oh yeah, they go hand in hand. Early last year in the spring, there were folks who were sounding the alarm that the regime was likely operating ICE as a bounty hunter style. I don't want to say agency because they're a criminal operation. They're not legitimate law enforcement, but that ICE agents were getting paid per head bounties to abduct people. And then later in the year, around May, Stephen Miller, who is just, straight up sociopathic little Nazi weasel, right? Despite being the descendant of Russian Jews, his goal is to commit a Holocaust in this country and to institute fascism. He wants a Nazi-like state. He has been operating out of the Joseph Goebbels handbook of fascist Third Reich Ministry of Propaganda bullshit this entire time. And we should all be really clear that Stephen Miller is running this country. It's not Donald Trump. It's Stephen Miller. Not a single person in this country voted for Stephen Miller. He is not an elected official. He is the puppet master acting as a dictator in this country because I don't know why. Stephen Miller is the kind of guy who somebody came to you and said, oh yeah, he lit cats on fire as a kid. You would be like, oh, that doesn't surprise me. There's tapes of him in high school saying that he justifies torture, that like he is low-key fine with torture as a child. He said that as a high schooler. So in May of last year, Stephen Miller said ICE has to round up 3,000 immigrants per day. And there are so many reports that ICE is getting paid per head. They don't care if they're immigrants or not. In this instance, this gentleman, an American citizen, his family offered to provide paperwork. They ignored it. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to see his ID because what we are hearing is that for every person that they bring in, they get paid, whether or not those folks end up being American citizens here with legal status, what have you, and end up getting kicked out later. They're just required to abduct people because that freaks out the public. It makes all of us really, really scared. And they're seeing if they can get away with it. They're seeing if they can get away with abducting American citizens, and everybody allows it to happen. They want that to be the new normal in this country. And these fail sons feel empowered to do it because the Department of Justice says we won't prosecute you. And by the way, here's a big fat fucking wad of cash. Hope that overcomes your conscience. Hope that overcomes your fear of prosecution in the post-Trump era. It's pretty genius. It's working well right now. These guys know what they're doing is wrong. They know what they're doing is illegal, and they're doing it anyway for money. for money. And they are aiding and abetting Stephen Miller and Donald Trump in dismantling democracy and installing a fascist state where we won't have a constitution anymore if they get their way. And we're not going to let them get their way. Part of what I want to talk about later today, actually I'll probably do it in the next video, is the way that they thought we would abandon immigrants, and we're not. We're not letting them move the needle. People are defending immigrants as fiercely as they're defending their own personal rights. And all of this seems really awful right now, but they're going to fail. They're going to fail. We are all making sure of that. Yeah, come back for the next video because that's what I want to talk about next.